The first things first, we're going to be starting off with overnight oats. Again, simple ingredients here. All we need is oats, milk, Greek yogurt, protein. I'm using Muscle Nation's chocolate honeycomb. You can get 10% off with code JORD. And finally, my obsession, Biscoff sauce. And what we're basically gonna do, we're gonna mix all these ingredients in a bowl, mix it together and put it in the fridge overnight. And that's your breakfast sorted in the morning. Macros getting drawn up on MyFitnessPal as we speak. 50 grams of Tesco Finest yogurt, roughly 70 grams of whole milk, and 40 grams of protein. If you want to stop there, that's 448 calories, 41 grams of protein. But however, I like to add an additional 10 grams of Biscoff on top of it once it sets in the morning. And 10 grams of this Biscoff sauce is only 59 calories. Taking your breakfast to 570 calories, 41 grams of protein. It's how your oats should be looking in the morning. And this is it after I've added my 10 grams of Biscoff sauce. So next up is lunch. I'm going to be doing a Korean ground beef and rice, and the ingredients are lean 5% steak mince, so you can get 2 or 3 meals out of this, which is good. Rice, but for video's purposes, I'm going to be using packeted rice just to save time. Exactly the same as the beef. This packet of rice could either be a full portion or half a portion. Some onions, dark and light soy sauce, and finally honey for the sweetness. These recipes normally have brown sugar, but I much prefer honey, as 10 to 15 grams of honey is enough, and it's between 30 to 50 calories, which isn't too bad. And finally, paprika, chili flakes, and also onion granules. Basically got myself the biggest onion in the bag. And I'm just gonna dice this up. I learned this in the kitchen in Australia when I was a kitchen hand back in the day, working for accommodation. That's the only prep which is more or less needed for this. I also forgot to mention, I'm using this spray oil, which is very minimal. I'm probably only using 5 sprays tops, and it's gonna be less than, don't know, about 15, 20 calories, I'm guessing. But as you can see, just doing my 5 sprays here. This is the good stuff, by the way. I don't know about you guys, but I like to clean up as I cook. Let me know what you do below. The handy spatula. Just gonna do this until this more or less browns off. Grabbing the beef, but yeah, chuck that all into the pan. Again, for time purposes, I'm gonna be chucking the rice in the microwave. Normally I would cook my own, but just to save some time, I'm just gonna chuck this in the microwave now. This meal would honestly, once you have all your ingredients together, it will take less than 5 minutes. 8 minutes to prepare all together, especially if you're cooking on a high heat. This is where my soy sauce and my spices all go into the pan. Got to be generous with the paprika, onion granules, and finally chili. You don't do this to taste. You don't do too much and ruin your meal. I almost forgot a little bit of ginger as well. But I'm just like letting it all absorb the flavors. I'm going to separate half and put half into a bowl and save this for tomorrow. So that is roughly half the beef back in the pot. And what I'm just going to do here, I just placed my rice in the microwave. And I'm just going to chuck that in now. And that's half a packet of rice and 250 grams of beef. Also, you can add this, but only just a handful of frozen sweet corn. This bag comes in handy. This is a sweet meal, I'm adding some additional sweet corn. And that is frozen, it's literally just a couple stirs and it is all done. So this is the final meal. I don't know if you could see, it's all in this pan. This is my Korean beef and rice. 250 grams of lean beef is 310 calories, 52 grams of protein. So that's high protein as it is. Need to get this one out of the bin and scan it. I don't have this specific brand scanned. This is M&S packet rice. 125 grams is 4.3 grams of protein. So altogether with the beef and the rice is 519 calories, 58 grams of protein. And with the soy sauces and the honey, I'm giving an extra 100 calories for this. So altogether it's roughly 620 calories, 58 grams of protein. But you know what? I'll put it in a bowl. Here it is. It looks insane. And finally, as dinner, I'm gonna be doing a Tabasco chicken and broccoli pasta. And the ingredients are any kind of pasta, but I'm using fusilli, chicken, broccoli, and I think you're gonna be a little intrigued to see what I do with this. Here are my cheeses. I'm gonna probably use about 15 to 30 grams of soft cheese. And I always buy my cheddar by the slices because I know one slice is 20 grams. And that is 5.1 grams of protein. And finally, the secret sauce, Tabasco sauce. I'm gonna be cooking the chicken with this Tabasco sauce to add that flavor. And also I'm just gonna be doing a general marinade to my chicken with smoked paprika and a little bit of garlic. So my chicken is defrosted. I'm just gonna cut it up now and marinate it with some paprika and garlic. I'm also gonna take this broccoli, cut it up really finely and put it in with the chicken while I'm frying it. I need a sous chef for this. I like to cut up my chicken very fine. The finer, the better. 175 grams. I got my paprika, got the garlic, and also my secret ingredient. I like to use a little bit of lime juice. Again, this is the hand I have been touching the chicken with, so I don't like to touch everything else. But a little bit of lime juice just to keep it nice and moist. Not too much, so it's gonna completely destroy the flavor, but yeah, now basically just mix that all in. Finally, a new knife and a new cutting board for the broccoli. And I'll show you what I mean right now with the broccoli, how fine I'm gonna cut it up. More or less just chop the ends off. And I've only used a good chunk out of the broccoli, so it's not too much. Perfect. The broccoli's cut up and the chicken is cut up and marinated. Now we're gonna start cooking. So now that everything's all cut up, I'm just gonna put these on the hob. And what I'm gonna do now is just measure out the cream cheese, the cheese, and the pasta. I'm gonna have 131 grams of pasta, which is roughly 500 calories. Tap water. Then I'm just gonna add the salt to taste. Chuck the oil on. It shouldn't take too long to cook because I've cut my slices of chicken very thin. The fork is your best friend in this situation because it's all stuck together. So now that the broccoli is in, I've turned down the heat of the chicken until the pasta cooks more or less with the Tabasco sauce. I think I might have been a little bit excessive there with the Tabasco sauce, but let's see how it goes. If you like spicy food, it's not too bad. Okay, so look how much water's in there now. So I'm just gonna let it absorb a little bit. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna crank the heat up on the chicken and the broccoli, take that up to 9, and I'm gonna pour the pasta in there. And there should be a little bit of juice in there now. So that's where everything's gonna be. Concoction in, it's got the 30 grams of cream cheese, a slice of cheese, garlic and Tabasco sauce. The chicken is 100% cooked and so is the broccoli. So I'm just gonna mix it all in now and until the cheese is distributed. Wouldn't recommend putting additional chilies in here because the Tabasco sauce might be a little bit too much, but that is your pasta dish. So here are the finished macros for the Tabasco chicken and broccoli fusilli. The fusilli is high by itself. That's 524 calories, but surprisingly 17.4 grams of protein. And that's for a weight of 131 grams of uncooked fusilli. Next, the chicken, 175 uncooked chicken is 289 calories and that's 54 grams of protein. 30 grams of soft cheese and there's only 1.2 grams of protein in that. And finally, the sliced cheese is 5.1 grams of protein, 80 calories. Altogether, this meal is 963 calories and 77 grams of protein. So altogether, you've hit 175 grams of protein throughout the whole day. 70 grams of protein in this bad boy. So here are your meals, 175 grams of protein across all of these meals. Your overnight oats with the garnish of Biscoff. Your Korean ground beef rice. And your Tabasco chicken and broccoli pasta. So this takes your calories to roughly just under 2,000 calories. Again, depending what you're doing, if you're cutting, bulking, this isn't for anyone to follow specifically. This is just a rough guide. Again, add more if you're bulking, reduce if you're cutting. Then after, I would have a couple protein snacks throughout the day to top that even more. If you're struggling to get protein into your diet, I recommend watching this next video about 7 ways to get protein into your diet.